from where we're jumping it up to. So it just seems to me that either we think that it should be jumped up to 95% and then held with 3% to be consistent with the other elected officials, or we shouldn't bother jumping it up to begin with. And frankly, I think that that's a bad idea. So instead, I'm proposing jumping it up to 95 and then 3% to remain steady.
Yep, that's great.
I oppose this amendment. We gave a substantial increase up to 95 from where it was, and now we're adding to it, and I'm gonna vote no.
Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I missed this meeting where this was discussed, but when I saw this, I thought it was rather odd that we saw the need, or the committee saw the need to increase the salary to essentially what the Peoria County coroner was making this past year, and then for some reason cut back on it, so that at the end of his term, he really didn't see, we thought it was necessary to increase the position because of the reasons that it was necessary to increase the position. Being 24 hours on call, all those things that go along with being the coroner. I support the salary increase, but I don't understand why, after raising the salary to what I think is a reasonable level, we cap it and don't keep it the same as the other county electeds that we're looking at the same period. So I support the motion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments? Max?
I'm just going to plan to abstain from the vote on the amendment. Any subsequent votes on the coroner salary?
Okay. Anybody else? All in favor of the amendment signify by indicating aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
I have hands. Pardon?
Can we have a roll call, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Atkins?
Aye.
Crawford? Deppert?
Yes.
Mark Goddard? Sam Goddard? Graff?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Harris? Hopkins?
No.
Josting?
Yes.
Crable? Longfellow?
Yes.
Mennel?
No.
Mingus?
Yes.
Nelms?
Yes.
Pageant? Trail?
No.
Rich Simpson?
Yes.
Schneider? Sen?
Yes.
Chairman Zimmerman? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Motion passes.
Nays.
4, 5, 10 to 5.
All right, motion passes. The amendment passes. Now we vote on the motion as amended. Any comments on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
1, 5. All right, moving to AE 2445. Who pulled this? Nick, you make the motion to not go into? Nope. I need a motion to put it on the floor. So, Nancy, there a second? Bill Atkins. All right. You pull it, Bill? No, Nick did.
I pulled it, Mr. Chairman. I pulled it because I do not support the motion.
All right. Bill, would you explain what was done?
Yeah, there are two things that we're changing in the rules. One of them has to do with attendance, and basically it's making sure that we don't have as many in-place meetings as what we've been forced to have because of an inability to get enough people together to actually have a meeting. What we should do, frankly, is withdraw from the committees that we simply can't attend, but that apparently hasn't always been done by all of our members, and so it was raised by a number of members that we had a problem that needed to be taken care of. We adjusted things, and then we ended up with a rule which I'll admit I drafted that didn't actually take care of the problem, And so we instead are changing it to leave it to the discretion of the county board chairman and the chairman of the committee in order to make sure that if there is a problem with attendance, that it's taken care of without having a bright line rule that has to be followed in every case. That's with regards to the first issue. The next issue is with regards to payment. We already had a rule that you are supposed to get your requests for reimbursement for mileage, per diems, etc. in by 60 days after the month in which you earn the right to that reimbursement. We've had a few members who have not complied with that. Actually, we've had quite a few members who haven't complied with that, but most of us, when we don't comply with that, we just decide to not get the money. But we've had a few come forward saying, I know I didn't comply with that, but I'd still like to get paid. And this is making it more difficult for that to happen. Frankly, if someone under this particular rule comes to us 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever, we could still suspend our rules and still grant it, but it would take a supermajority vote to do that. Under our current rule, it takes a simple majority. So essentially the difference here is just to make it take a supermajority in order for you to get reimbursed for whatever it might be for a board member. This does not affect our employees. For a board member, if you neglect to do your request within a 60-day period after the month in which you earn it.
Thank you. Comments, questions? Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support the first one on the attendance. It's the second part of the rule on the reimbursement for 60 days that I have an issue with. And we do have a pending matter, and I don't know if you've gotten an answer on that with Mr. Crawford, but Mr. Crawford had turned in a request because of his absence. That was tabled or deferred at a prior meeting. That's still hanging out there because Mr. Crawford hasn't returned. So I don't know if that's going to be addressed or not. But the problem that I have is we're changing the rules the middle of the term. We set our rules every December 1st-ish. Whenever the new board members are sworn in, we approve the rules for that term of the board. I'm not arguing that some of these aren't worthy to be done, but I don't know why we're doing it now, and I don't understand why the board would even care if a board member is entitled to pay for legitimate work they've done, why this board would deny that. I don't understand that, whether it be submitted in 58 days or 65 days. To me, that makes no sense at all.
Any other comments, Bill?
I just simply wanted to state with regards to Mr. Crawford's request, I did get an opinion from the state's attorney's office. We cannot utilize our rules to cut off that request that's already been made. The request, as the rules were at the time it was made, will eventually be heard based on those rules. We cannot divest Mr. Crawford of any right that he might have simply by a trick of the rules. It's got to be a vote of the actual full board to say yes or no to it. There's no way to just take away that right without having a vote on it.
Okay, are there other comments? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
No.
Okay, Nick. Motion carries. All right, entertain a motion to approve the appointments and reappointments A through H by Greg Minow, second by Greg Longfellow. Comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. You have your May calendar in the folder, you have your budget calendar in the folder. I don't know of any unfinished business, any new business. All right, we are in recess. Wait a minute, gotta approve the 24 calendar. I'm sorry.
Consider approval.
By Jamie, second by Nancy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.